Hey fashion lovers, welcome back to my channel, and today's video it is how to cut this two piece. This is halter neck and strapless back, open back, all right, and shirts. How to cut it. The easiest way you can go about cutting this as a beginner. So guys, if you have not subscribed, do subscribe. Let's dive into it. The first thing, you already know what we usually do is our calculation. Looking at this dress is a bustier, all right, but did not use pad. It is a padless bustier, okay. So these are the measurements, all right. I divided by 4 and I added some allowances. On the bust I went for 3, on the waist I went for 4 added, and on the hip I went for 3. Nothing much. Our bust point is 10, our half length is 17, blouse length is 25 plus 1.5 inches, and as usual our shoulder, okay. Now this is it has button. This overlap has button. So the first thing we have to mark when marking this dress is our button allowance of 2 inches. This pattern paper is folded into 2 already. It is folded into 2 already, okay. Now having marked my button allowance 2, the next thing is to mark my shoulder. Mind you, the fact that I used 2 does not mean you cannot use 1.5. The 2 inches is because I will be using facing, okay. Now the first measurement is my armhole depth, my bust point, my under bust, my waist, and the blouse length. All right, these are the measurements I've marked. Now this first one is the armhole depth, which I went for 7.5, okay, because it's a strapless. The back is strapless, okay, and the front is alternate. Then the bust point I went for 10.5, and the under bust is 13.5. The half length you already know is 17.5, and the end of the fabric is the gown, the um, blouse length, okay. Here is the armhole depth, and here is the BP. Here is the UB, W, and H, which is the blouse length, okay. Right, having indicated all these lines, the next thing, right at the armhole depth, I will equally mark my shoulder, okay. Now I've started cutting this thing without, going around with the shoulder, but I'm just putting it out there, so if you're a beginner, you'll be able to understand easily. Now having marked my shoulder, I'll go ahead and mark my measurement plus sewing allowance, okay. Measurement plus sewing allowance, I'll mark at the waist, mark at the hip, okay. The waist I went for the same measurement with the hip bust, but the hip is bigger, so we'll just take rule and connect them together, all right. Now because of the 4 inches I added at the waist, not 3, it made it look as if the hip and the waist and the bust are on the same line, okay. So but when after sewing, it will all go in, all right, because there will be that intake more on the waist side. That is why I went for 4 additions. So I'll curve my armhole, all right. After curving my armhole, so the next thing right now is for us to go for a nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half inches. Now the nipple for this dress is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 plus half, that is 4.5. So I will go ahead and mark 4.5 right at the armhole depth, right at the bust point, right at the waist, and right at the blouse length. Nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half inches. Now I'll use my rule to connect it, okay. I use my rule to connect it. Now looking at it the way it is right now, the next thing we need to do is determine the distance from our bust, distance from our bust to our chest, upper chest, all right, to the part where it will start being open. Okay, now the best way to go about it is starting from your under bust right here at this circle. You can either measure 4.5. Okay, but I went for 4.5. That is my chest line. All right, the reason why I like going that way is you get to measure what covers your bust or your breast. Okay, because it is 4.5 above, so it's 4.5 inches that will be covering it. Next thing, you come right under the bust, UB, take 1 inches up here too, take 1 inches. Now you can decide to go for 0.5 inches at the upper part, is still okay. All right, but whichever one you're going for, you still get a good result. But for the under bust, 1 inches. Okay, so you take your rule and connect it. You can see how I'm connecting it to the bust point. I went for the 1 inches, okay, because I want a more curvy part. Then you connect it straight this way that I'm looking at it. That is, you measure that same 1 inches as the end of the blouse length, 1 inches, you connect it straight. Now you can see how I connected it straight. You either go this way or you can decide to go this way. All right, but for me, I prefer going straight. All right, that particular joining, I always love it straight. I don't want it curved in any way, so the straight part will be the best. Okay, so all these parts will be taken off. All these parts will be taken off when cutting. All right, so I'll go ahead and cut. Done. Then we'll cut the sides. Now the back of this dress is strapless. Okay, not just strapless, it has a tiny elastic at the upper part, like you're seeing. You can equally see it has belt. Okay, so you need to put that into consideration when cutting the back. Now for us to cut the back, there's no zip at the back, just that it is strapless. Okay, it is open back, and the open back starts from the armhole depth. Okay, so what I'll do is just fold this our button allowance inside, okay, and place it. Now my placing where the armhole here, that is where it will start. You can see it. See how I took it up and let it start right at the armhole depth, because looking at the back, it is straight. Okay, it's a straight, the back is straight, like is right at the armhole length. So all I need to do is follow it and cut exactly. Okay, I do not need to follow it and cut exactly. All right, after cutting, I will equally need to curve the down of this to avoid it being too sharp. We'll still curve the down to give it a good curvy effect at the down part. So I will be using my rule to just place it and cut. That makes it easy. All right, that will be the first thing first. Okay, you see how I placed it. Now I will be using this to get the curve that I want. Any part of this curve is good. Then you cut. This is it, one. Another thing is the back does not have a bustier. So the measurement I'm using is too big. All right, so what I usually do is remove the front, then come by the side, all right, and take out either 1 inches or 1.5 inches. Here you can see how I'm taking it out. So I've taken it out, they will now be the same. So this is the back. All right, on this back there will be elastic, just a tiny elastic. There is belt on this upper part. Here there will be elastic at this upper part, just a tiny belt to help in the fitness. Okay, so the back does not have much. They can be waist out on the back if you choose to. All right, so let's just concentrate on the front that needs our attention. Okay, so this is it. Now the front of this dress is facing. So the fact that I cut 2 inches for button allowance, by the time we finish with the facing, I will be having 1.5 inches. And remember, the button that is on this dress is big button. So that is why it's important you go beyond 1 inches for your button allowance. Now the opening at the down of this dress starts from the waist. I measured 1.5 inches down. Either you connect it this way, all right, or you place it this way. Let it go where the zip button is, all right, or you can go up more if you choose to. Okay, you can decide to go up more to give more space. All right, so I'll just cut, but first let's work with it. Take away the darts, the bustier first. So you cut this part out, cut it out. This is one of the easiest strapless, alternate strapless dress you can make for yourself. The trouser you already know is the shorts is our normal shorts. For those that wants to know for video on how to cut the short, there's a video on my channel on how to cut shorts, so you get to see it. So this part will be cutting off too. All right, another thing, we need to open that button allowance part. It needs to be opened up. It wasn't opened initially, so this is how it comes out. Okay, now the reason why you put it this way is when you place it together, button allowance to button allowance, you see the freeness. If it is too close, you can actually recut. Now this is how it looks. I just used tape to hold the paper in to know if what I'm to cut for my client, I will get the same result. Okay, so this is it. Now looking at this picture, they just got band. After the bustier, they placed the band few inches after I think about 1.5 inches after, or 1 inches after the bustier line. Okay, they placed the band from here the same way I placed it. Okay, they placed the other one by the side too. Now this band is a tieable one, or rope is a tieable one that can be tied at the back of the neck. It is tieable. Now you can see how it looks. Now looking at it this way, this is good. Okay, so when I cut it, I will not be making mistake. All right, it is tieable this way. Okay, so when I cut this, I will not be making mistake. That means I'm on the right track. So what I just need to do is go ahead, place it on my fabric and cut. Okay, I'll just take out all the tips. Now this is the back. The back can have 2 darts. Okay, and another thing is there is belt on this dress. That means it wasn't too fitted. They equally use belt to give it more fitting. All right, so it will be placed this way, and this is it. This is the front. Now this is the back. Remember, there will be elastic at the strap, the armhole line. There will be elastic to not to make it too wide, to make it more firm. All right, so guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. Okay, see you guys on my next video.